Flightpath PE.
Hello everybody. Today I will be showing off a video that I made for a science project that we have recently had where we had 78 vocab words that we had to define, and we were told we can do it in any of the ways listed on our sheet. And we could do other ways if we got permission. So, I decided to do Minecraft. It's a nice Minecraft video. And so, I have put a lot of effort into that, which is why I have not really even been able to consider posting, even though I've had lots of things that I've wanted to post lately. And so, just heads up, in this video I release my new theme. So it goes by the same tune, but it's new video graphics. Let's get going. Hello everybody. Today I'm going to be explaining all my science vocabulary words. Dun, 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 dun. Flightpath PE. The Earth is made up of 3 layers. The crust, which is where we live. The mantle, which is a layer of semi-solid rock that is very hot. And then under that, we have the core. Consists of the outer core, which is made up of liquid metal, and the inner core, which is made up of solid metal. Rotation is when a celestial body rotates around a central point called an axis. An axis is an invisible line in the middle that a planet rotates around. Revolution is when an object moves around a central body like a planet. Tectonic plates are segments of the Earth's crust. There are 3 types of plate boundaries. There are convergent boundaries, which is where 2 plates move towards one another. There are divergent boundaries, where 2 plates move away from each other. An example of this is the Mid-Atlantic Ridge, which is a large divergent boundary running through the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. And then there are transform boundaries, which is where 2 plates slide along each other. The 2 types of plates are the continental plate, which consists mostly of land, for example, the Eurasian plate, and the oceanic plate, which consists mostly of water, such as the Pacific plate. There are 2 types of eclipses. Solar eclipses, which is when the moon passes in front of the sun, and lunar eclipses, which is when the moon passes into the Earth's shadow. An artificial satellite is something that orbits the Earth, or really any other planet that is man-made. A space probe is a unmanned craft that goes into orbit of other planets and collects data from them. The Hubble telescope is a large telescope that is in orbit of the Earth, taking close-up, detailed photos of parts deep in outer space that are impossible to see with the naked eye. Tides are when the pull of the moon's gravity causes water to get pulled in that direction, rising up and down. Remote sensing is flying over and observing an area by satellite or high-flying aircraft. The International Space Station is a large research facility in orbit of the Earth, used to collect data in zero-gravity experiments. Abiotic is something that never was living, like the lava. Biotic is anything that is or was living, like these cats. So, here are two flowers. This is I'm not even going to try with the little things. Let's look at these big things. So, this flower has sepals, which are protective leaves along the outside of the flower. There are the stamen, which is the male part, which consists of the filament, which is the thing that supports it, and then the anther, which is what dispenses pollen. And then there's also the pistil, is the female part, which is made up of the stigma, which collects pollen, the style, which takes pollen to the ovary, which is where the eggs are used to pollinate ovules, which are seeds, which come out. And pollination is when something comes, takes some pollen, and they take it to another flower, and out comes a new flower. Photosynthesis is when rays from the sun go and allow a plant to grow. So here I am on the sun. And down there, and you can't see it, but there is a tree sapling. I'm going to go, Mr. Sunlight, just came down and grew it into a tree. How photosynthesis works is the light comes down and the tree takes in carbon dioxide and water, as well as the sunlight, to create food so that it can grow. Transpiration is when a plant releases water into the air during the process of photosynthesis. Chlorophyll is the green pigment in leaves that collects sunlight to be used for photosynthesis. This is a plant, and a plant is an example of a producer, which is an object or an organism that can create its own food. Stomata are holes in the bottom of a leaf controlled by guard cells, allowing water to get out. Respiration is when the plant takes the energy created from photosynthesis and
turns it into energy, which it can use to grow. And a tropism is when something grows towards a certain object, whether it's gravity, the sun, or water. Like sunflowers, as the name describes, has a tropism to face towards the sun. A consumer is a organism that requires to eat food in order to live, unlike producers, which can produce their own. A decomposer is something that takes in waste from dead animals and dead plants and other dead organisms and pops them out into the soil as nutrients. A food chain is a line of things that kill each other for energy, like sheep eat wheat for food, which gets its energy from the sun, and then wolves kill sheep, and then the ravagers kill the wolves, and then the Iron Golem kills the ravager, so the Iron Golem kills the ravager, and then of course the player comes and kills the Iron Golem. And then a food web is basically just an interlinking food chain with a bunch of different things linking, like if we get out a group of villagers, and then I can show you that there are many things that will kill a villager when they get the chance. For example, zombies. Yeah, let's get these out of here. So, and then pillagers also kill villagers, but let's get him out of here before he does too much damage. Then of course the ravager kills villagers. So if we put all of them in here, there's absolute havoc in here, because it's not just the one thing that kills the things in order. They're just all killing off one another. Matter is stuff. It is the stuff that makes up everything. The trees, the flowers, the fake model flowers, these massive coal and quartz structures. And matter arrangements of different atoms. Atoms are what make up matter. They consist of protons, neutrons, and electrons. The number of them determines the element, and there are 118 different elements. They're arranged into this diagram here called the periodic table. If you're wondering what this empty gap is here, this is what goes there. So, an element is substance, and that can be used to make other substances.
The three states of matter are solid, which is when the atoms are densely packed, and so the object will hold its shape. Then there are liquids, where they are still tightly packed, but they are loosely enough packed to slide past each other and spread out. And the third state is gas, which is when the atoms are spread far apart and they just scatter all over the place.
Opaque objects let no light through. Translucent objects let some light through. Transparent objects let all light through. Solubility is the ability of an object or substance to dissolve other things in it. A solvent is something that dissolves stuff in it, like water. And solute is things that are dissolved in the solutes. Then saturation is the act of soaking thoroughly with a liquid. Like, I'm going to saturate this sugar by pouring water on it. There you go. Got saturated sugar. Melting point is the temperature at which a substance melts. Boiling point is the temperature at which water boils. The electromagnetic spectrum is an arrangement of electronic radiation according to their wavelengths. This includes radio waves, visible light from the sun, gamma rays, X-rays, ultraviolet waves, infrared waves, and microwaves. This is a wave. A wave has crests, which is the top or peak of the wave. Got the trough, which is the bottom of the wave. Got the amplitude, which is a measure of how far it is from top to bottom. You've got wavelength, which is the distance from one crest to another crest, or one trough to another trough. A wave is energy traveling by particles hitting one another, creating a wave, kind of like what you would see in the ocean. This is another diagram of a wave. It contains compressions, which is where the molecules from the energy are pushing into each other. And then there's rarefactions, which is where they're spreading apart. And then they compact again into compressions on the other side. And that pattern continues on and on and on until the wave fades to nothing. Frequency is a number of occurrences within a given time period, or in other words, how fast the wave is traveling. A transverse wave is a wave that moves the medium in a direction perpendicular to the direction in which it travels. And a longitudinal wave is a wave that the vibration of the medium is parallel to the direction that the wave travels. Energy is the capacity of a physical system to do work. Reflection is when a wave bounces off of an object. Refraction is when waves pass through an object but don't come out exactly the same, oftentimes distorted. Thermal equilibrium is when two different substances are at the exact same temperature. Temperature is the hotness or coldness of an organism or substance. Density is how compact matter is. The density of water is 1. Radiation is heat energy being sent across like a campfire radiates heat to people. And conduction is heat traveling through touch. Like when I place the lava next to this wood, it will burn. There you go. Convection is the circulation of hot air and cold air, or hot water and cold water, or any other solid or liquid or gas substance. Hot air goes up, cold air comes down to take its place. Cold air heats up and the hot air cools down, and then they swap again. Soil conservation is using methods to prevent soil erosion or to prevent soil from getting contaminated. There are 3 main types of soil conservation. There's terrace farming, which is when you farm in steps along the slope of a hill. There's contour plowing, which is also on the slope of a hill, when you just run the path, just twisting it and turning it to keep in line with the hillside. And then there's contour plow, and there's crop rotation, not soil rotation, but crop rotation, when we have carrots and potatoes here 1 year, and then the next year potatoes and carrots are swapped in order to preserve the nutrients in the soil. Well, there you go. There's all of my science vocab words defined with Minecraft. Flight path PE says goodbye. Well, I hope you enjoyed my science vocabulary project, and please like, and I understand that if you have enjoyed my channel and you don't want to subscribe because I don't really have enough content quite yet, I understand, but just please like this video. Oh, if you enjoyed, Flight Path PE says goodbye.